So I was surprised when I was reading an article the day after the draft about where each team ranked according to the Athletic on how they drafted, and the Broncos were 29th. Now, obviously, all that matters is the Broncos and how they feel about these players. You can draft like RJ Harvey in the second round, for example. Maybe other people thought he was a third or a fourth round pick, but if you believe he's that good, and you traded down twice. Denver did that in the second round, and then they traded up, of course, in the third round to get their guy towards the back end of that. So Denver moved around a lot, but I think they got a lot of good football players, and everyone is so fixated on upside when sometimes you just need to reach for the high floor and get good football players. And Denver, they're a team that they don't really need upside. They just need players that can come in and play right away and help them compete, especially in the AFC West division, which has the Chargers, and of course has the Kansas City Chiefs. It's going to be a tough division. That's 4 games right there against playoff teams last year right off the rip. I think Denver is going to be ready, and they're a playoff team in their own right too. They had the best defense of football. Offensively, there was a couple of things lacking. Certainly out of the backfield, there wasn't a lot of juice. Receiving position, Cortland Sutton had a fantastic season, but there wasn't much outside of him, unless you go to like the second half of the season, of course, when they got Marvin Mims Jr., who was electric with the ball in his hands. And they do like Troy Franklin, and they also like Devon Vele. So there's a couple of pieces there going out and getting Evan Ingram. But I think Denver did need a receiver who can come in, catch the 50-50 ball, possession catch receiver, not a blur, right? They've got plenty of speed, but they just needed some consistency. And that's where you look at the draft, and boom, third round, pick 74, Pat Bryant out of Illinois. Pat Bryant is just a very solid receiver. You know what you're getting out of him, and that's why Denver took him to what many people thought was a little bit high. RJ Harvey was the same thing, pick 60. He's a running back that at UCF, he was tough to face, man. As a Buffs fan, I mean, we play in the same conference as UFC, and he's just the type of back that he's going to make you miss. He might not have a 4.3 speed. I don't know what he ran at the combine, but he's not like the fastest running back in the world, but he sort of just make a move and then he's gone. He only had, where are my notes? Because I want to be precise for you guys. I wrote it down. I think he had, was it 4 or 5 less touchdowns than Ashton Jenney? Let me check my notes because you guys are going to be surprised how good he really is. So he ended up having just 5 less touchdowns than Ashton Jenney, who won the Heisman. He ran for 1,577 yards, 22 touchdowns, 20 catches for 667 yards, and 3 more touchdowns. That's obviously 25 touchdowns from scrimmage, which is incredible. Now, the reason why a lot of people aren't high in him is because he isn't a bell cow 3-down type of running back. He's going to be sort of like a Darren Sproles, bigger version, obviously, or like a Tajay Spears, who you guys probably will know because he's more recent. He's kind of like that type of back. But if you look at Denver, that's fine because, well, for one, Sean Payton was at his best with a split running back, right? When he had, of course, Alvin Kamara, and he also had Mark Ingram. But looking at the depth chart, you look at Audric Estime. Jaleel McLaughlin is listed as RB1 as the starter, but I don't know how true that really is. I think Estime and Harvey is going to be the future out of the backfield for this team. Feel free to disagree with me, but that's who I'm looking forward to seeing. I think that's who I will end up seeing when the season starts. There's going to be a lot of competition, but I think that's what the Broncos are envisioning when they drafted Harvey, of course. So that's going to be cool as well. And then you look at the first round, which we haven't even gotten into. Very, very interesting. Jahdae Barron, one of the best players in the draft. The reason why he didn't go higher is because he's 5'11", doesn't have big arms, right? But he can play everywhere on the field. I mean, he's just an absolute, how would you describe him? He just knows. He's basically like an on-the-field coach. He just reads everything. He sees it all. He's very smart. And he goes and he gets the football. He just fits into what Denver already has. I mean, this is without question, right? The best secondary in football now. I mean, you've got Riley Moss and Patrick Surtain on the outside. It doesn't get better than that. And then, of course, you got Jaquan McMillan, who had an absolute stud of a season. Chris Abrams-Drain, I think, has potential. Jahdae Barron now, of course, playing in the nickel with McMillan, but McMillan's going to be in the nickel. I think they're going to move Barron around, and he's going to play different positions. And, of course, Talanoa Hufanga, like P.J. Locke is very, very solid, man. I like him. Even Sam Franklin Jr. He had 5 starts with the Panthers? So he's a guy who's listed as 4th in the depth chart who has starts under his belt. I think this is the deepest secondary in football. And the Broncos aren't even known for their secondary. They're known for their pass rush, of course, with DJ Jones, who got paid like before free agency, and Nick Benito and Zach Allen had an amazing, like really an all pro type of year. He was that good. And then they've got John Franklin Myers as well, who's pretty solid. So I like what Denver has. Big time pickup, Dre Greenlaw, who got injured recently, but he's expected to be good to go for the start of the season. Just a lot of talent on this defense, man. I remember Justin Strad came in, of course, a special teams guy, and ended up playing significant snaps. Like he was a starter for the Broncos last season. So I like what they have going on. And in terms of the rest of the draft, so they end up taking Q Robinson in the 4th round. They took Savion Jones in the 3rd round. I like Jones. I think Q Robinson is their best pick, just given his tape was incredible. He flashed a lot of potential, and he's a big dude. I think he's going to be a stud. I really do. That's why some of these picks, you just don't know how they're going to turn out. Jeremy Crawshaw, of course, in the 6th round. He's got a huge leg out of Florida. First time Sean Payton's drafted a punter. He picked a very good time to do so. And now that I think about it, the Broncos re-signed their punter in the offseason, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, you take the best player on the board, and having a punter is huge, too, to be able to flip the field, especially with how close these games are going to be, right? I mean, I'd rather Patrick Mahomes have to go, I don't know, like 95 yards versus even, 70? So, I mean, it doesn't seem like much, but, I mean, the Broncos, with how good their defense is, if you can just pin a team like that back and rely on that game every single time. And then Caleb, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but Caleb Lohner out of Utah actually played college basketball. Only 1 year college football starter now that I think about it. So he's tall, right? I think he's 6'7". I'm going to pull him up in the depth chart. Let's see. Tight end position. He's not even listed on the depth chart, but I believe he's 6'7". Let me go on my notes. I'm trying to do this without my notes, so it's like sounds more authentic. 6'7", 256. Yeah, he's just a massive guy. I mean, all of his catches were touchdowns. It makes sense. So with Evan Ingram, of course, being the full-time guy, the Broncos, they did take another tight end. I think you could argue that they should have drafted a tight end way sooner, because Ingram usually can't stay healthy. And if he doesn't stay healthy, they're screwed. I mean, they're absolutely screwed. So you have to kind of bank on that. But in terms of down on the goal line, I mean, a 6'7" basketball player, good luck with that, right? The Colts have a tight end who's basically the same size, Mo Ali Cox, who's a former basketball player. And, I mean, he's just unstoppable one-on-one down there. It's actually funny seeing DBs and safeties try to stop him, man. He's just going to box them out. So I expect, of course, him to do the same for the Broncos, of course, and I'm looking forward to it. But I thought Denver had a pretty good draft, man. I think Jahdae Barron's going to be an absolute superstar. I think Q Robinson's going to be a star. I think Crawshaw is going to be good. I think that's kind of it. But, I mean, really like the Robinson, the Barron, and the Crawshaw picks, man. Those were the ones that really stood out to me. I think RJ Harvey has potential, though. I don't think he's going to be a lead back, like mega superstar, but I think he's going to complement very well. Similar to what Alvin Kamara did, of course, when he came out of college for the Saints. And Harvey, he has a lot of work to do in pass protection. He's got a lot of work to do just with certain things out of the backfield, catching the ball, even though he was good at it last year in college. But his skill set will translate to the next level. Good draft for the Broncos, man. And the fact that they're listed as 29th makes me think that they're going to end up having one of the best classes, because you can't just be like, oh, this team had the best draft, this team didn't. Like, how do we really know until they play? So don't be surprised at all if this class ends up being really, really good.